All right, guys, so we're going to be exploring the business model canvas and the lean model canvas today. Two incredible analytical tools that simplify our viewpoint about a product, problem, or business model. These two tools are exceptionally simple and efficient. It's a one-page template, and thus the name Canvas because you're going to paint it with ideas. The business model canvas was the first and the original foundational principle of this idea. It's more product centric than problem centric, and so it's used for businesses generally a little bit longer down the pipeline, but not always. Startups can use it as well. For startups, we're generally going to go with the lean model canvas, and it happens to be more problem centric because a lean canvas, a startup, is a company that's coming into being generally to meet an unmet need or to find a solution with a product or service to a problem. So let's check out the business model canvas first. These are the elements of both the business canvas and lean canvas, and we'll use a combo of the two often and kind of aggregate or bring them together as we do analysis. So the business model canvas, here you go. We've got some imagery, hopefully, that will help you also focus as we go through, along with some keywords coming up right next. Now, the first thing you'll notice is this is one page, it's interconnected, and there are numbers all about. So there is an order to this. And we'll start the business model canvas with customer segments because customer segments are our target audience. It's the basis of everything we're going to do with our product. We are trying to create value for each one of our segments. And remember, companies can have more than one segment. Now, as we move from our customer segment, we're going to move over to our value proposition. Our value proposition is what makes us unique and worth buying. And there's different types of value propositions that companies will fulfill, and we'll explore those a little bit later on. We got our customer channels, and these are our sales, marketing, or communication channels, along with distribution. And they're very important. It's how we reach our customer, it's the pathway to our customer, and how our customer reaches us. Customer relationships, sitting at number four, that's kind of our client interaction. That's how they interact with our product. This can be based on customer service, and there are different types of model. There's the traditional old school model of personal assistance. There's the newer model of self-service where you are actually integrating, or excuse me, interacting with a platform and taking yourself through the process by yourself. There are also other types of models as well, and we'll explore those later on down the line. As we come down here on this right side of the canvas, we're more customer centric, and we're going to be looking down at revenue streams, and that's our income. That's how we make money. And the traditional model is direct sales or asset sales. You pay something for a product or service, and it's simple as that. Now, as we kind of move around, we're going to go into our key activities. And notice this, everything connects back to the value proposition. On each side, we're always looking back to this. This is our center point for a reason. So, key activities are the key actions that a company has to take into account, has to perform in order to deliver that value proposition. And our key resources down here, guys, are the assets that we have in our company that allow us to perform these actions and to deliver that value proposition. If we can't perform the action or we don't have the assets, we're going to hit up key partnerships, which are key allies, collaborators that would work with us to help us to deliver upon the actions or the assets that we ourselves don't have. And lastly, we'll look at cost structure, which are the most important costs to the business. Those can involve fixed and variable costs and other costs, and then the most important expenses that we have in order to be successful. As we come over here, we'll be in a little bit more detail. The order still the same. We're going to start with our customer segments, our target audience. And guys, there's different segmentation. There's demographic, which is putting people into categories, you know, average income or median income, age, race, categories that put people into groups. And that's kind of the information that you fill out when you're taking a test when it asked about ethnicity. Geographic, well, that's just where somebody lives. It's the region, the zone, the country, the state, the city. Psychographic is sometimes confused with the next one. Psychographic deals mostly with our lifestyle and our value. Are we environmentally conscious? Are we health conscious? What is it that we hold most valuable in our decision making? And behavioral is how the client interacts with our product. How often do they buy it? When do they buy it? How do they use our product or service? And also, what is their loyalty and feeling about our brand? Below, you'll find your early adopters, which are your ideal customers. They are the ones that will first take on the mantle of using your product. And then as we progress through, we're going to hit that value proposition in. Once again, what makes us unique and worth buying are channels, sales, marketing, communication, distribution, customer relationships, how we keep, grow, and acquire customers, our income coming through our revenue streams, activities, our key actions, those things that we have to perform to deliver our value proposition. And under resources, you'll see four different types. There's financial, there's physical, which are things that actually have tangible, that are tangible. You can touch, you can feel, equipment, materials, supplies, inventory, buildings, factories, intellectual, that's intellectual properties, patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. Remember that patents are inventions or designs, and they actually have to be made public in order to receive that protection. That's where trade secrets come in. Those are kept secret. They do not get exposed to the public, and they often are very important to our companies. Human, that deals with the people that really work within the business, the leadership, the cogs in the wheel. And financial could be cash on hand for younger companies, loans, lines of credit, and other forms and access to capital. Our key partnerships are our collaborators, our suppliers, our third party sellers. These are important folks that will add to our key resources and key activities and the things that we don't have or we can't do. And finally, once again, our cost structure, which are expenses for the business. Now, let's slide over and let's talk about the lean model canvas. Now, this is what we are talking about generally for a startup. And so this order is slightly different because we're coming here with our customer segments, which are our target audience. But once we decide on that target audience, we got to figure out what's troubling them. What are their frustrations? What problems do they have? And we're always looking to get three at least. And this lets us know where we need to meet the need and bring the value to our consumer. Below, you'll find existing alternatives, which are also folks that are already involved with meeting this customer segment's needs, already answering these issues. Some are direct competitors, they're doing the exact same thing we're doing in a way, and others are more indirect to fulfill that need. And then we'll move into our value proposition, of which there are many different types, and we'll talk about those momentarily. But this is what makes us unique and worth buying. And our solution are the top features of our product, the things that it does in order to meet the needs of our clientele and deliver upon that value proposition. Channels don't change. Sales, marketing, communication, and distribution channels, and customer relationships, that customer service. How does our customer interact with us? How do they purchase our product in some ways? And what's the expectation upon the customer and upon us as the business? Revenue streams, those are the income again, cost structure, that's our expenses, and key metrics, the most important data that we can pull that will show that we are being successful in delivering our value proposition and as a business model. So let's take a little chance to take a little bit more detail when looking at these different things. Customer segments, we're feeling good about that by this point, I'm hoping. And then as we move around here, we're going to see a little bit more detail as to what we're trying to achieve. Those customer problems, those frustrations, trying to list three. Those existing alternatives, both competitors that are direct and indirect. Our unique value proposition, which makes us unique and worth buying. And here you see some different types of foundations for value propositions. The price of the product, affordability versus luxury, performance, customization, which allows us to make a product how we want to make it exactly. We can also call that personalization. Convenience, is it making things easier for us? Is it making life better in simple ways? Newness is something else that we've never seen before. We didn't know we even had that need, but now we do. And therefore, we're going to use the product or service. Once again, when you look at cost reduction, really related to price and affordability. I got so excited about newness, I listed it twice. And once again, everything ties back here. Everything comes back to this value proposition. And as we look into an example later on, we'll kind of discover what does that really mean. And on our channels, we got sales, marketing, and communication, relationships. Here's the old school way of doing it, the traditional way with personal assistants. You go into the store and somebody helps you versus self service or now even automated service, which is driven by bots and AI. For revenue streams, guys, we're looking at generally direct sales, or asset sales, subscription, which can involve kind of freemium. And freemium means that you start off for free, and then once you get hooked on a product and you like it, then you pay that subscription fee. And advertising, this is something that's really important in social media companies that don't really generate revenue the same way. The way that they generate revenue is by selling other people's products. Quite often, you see that when you go search something, and then all of a sudden on Facebook it pops up. It's a very powerful revenue stream for social media firms, which we'll explore later. And then we have our expenses, fixed and variable, and there are other costs to be certain. The most important cost of our business, fixed means that the more that we produce something, it doesn't change. That could be our rent, that could be the cost of our financial tools like loans or lines of credit. And you have variable costs, which do increase. The more that we produce, the more that we manufacture, the more it's going to cost us for supply, for inventory, and for electricity and upkeep, and so on and so forth. So, guys, that is the lean model canvas. We saw the business model canvas, both super powerful tools that you can utilize to map out an idea, a business plan in a very short time. If something adjusts over here, it's going to adjust over here. If there's more than one customer segment, you're going to have more than two different things over here for each customer segment, three different problems, a different value proposition. And we'll see that with multi-sided platforms like Uber that unites supply and demand, such as drivers and riders. You'll see that with social media firms as well that deal with content creators and those that view that content. Very powerful tool, and one that I hope you will take advantage of and will help your analysis of coming not up only with an idea, but analyzing those ideas that have already been formed. Thank you so much for your attention.